Welcome everyone. Marketing management orientation. This is the premises of the today's presentation. So let us understand what is marketing management and how do we process with it. Marketing management involves developing an overall strategy of a company for a longer term perspective. It is for survival, for growth, and sustainability over a longer period of time. Let us understand by defining the mission, as in the statement for which the organization is existing, the purpose should be market oriented, setting company's objectives, supporting goals and objectives to guide the entire company, designing a business portfolio, collection of business and products that makes up the company, planning functional strategies, detailed planning for each department, designed to accomplish strategic objectives thereby is what we are looking forward towards it. So yes, we should define the mission, setting company's objective, designing a business portfolio, planning functional strategies thereby. Let us understand the mission statement. The mission statement is all about market orientations, motivating, realistic, absolutely specific. Now, these are the mission statement which needs to be very specific, which has to be realistic, which has to be market oriented, fit to the environment, and distinctive competencies that comes around it. We are looking at motivating the general workforce. A good mission statement should stand the strength of time or the passage of time altogether. It should be forward oriented. It should be forward looking. It should be as realistic as possible. At the same time, as specific as possible. It should change to the different market scenarios as the case might be. Definitely, yes, this is what the mission statement is all about it. Designing a business portfolio, the best portfolio is the one that best fits the company's weaknesses, best fits the company's strength, and the opportunities of the environment that it presents itself. The company must analyze its current portfolio as in the strategic business units are concerned. Remember, in its current portfolio, business portfolio, it might have certain strength and certain weaknesses. Decide which SBUs or strategic business unit should receive more or less or no investment. You need to understand, should you take care of the weaker SBUs or should you actually put in money in your strength where you are doing almost very good and you are indomitable altogether. Develop growth strategies for adding new product, for adding new services, for adding new business to the portfolio, or in short, you wanted to have much more of an audience or much more of a market share that you most want to go around it. So yes, business portfolio is all about company strength and weaknesses and matching it up with the opportunities that the environment throws in. So that is what we need to go around it. Let us talk about Boston Consulting Group approach in terms of current SBUs or strategic business unit. In Boston or BCG matrix, as it's been popularly known as, on an x-axis it tells you about relative market share, whereas on the y-axis would be a market growth rate, as the case might be. Yes, when relative market share is low and market growth rate is also low, so what kind of portfolio it is all about? It is all about low growth and low share, probably very low profit potential. If it might be a loss making also, probably. So it's very poor in terms of market share and the market growth rate. Or in fact, the business might be fizzling out, the industry might be shrinking. But what happens? What will you do out here? What happens when the market share is very low, but the potential of the growth of the market, it might be a sunrise industry altogether. Let's say a driverless car, automobile. Driverless automobile is the next big thing. So potential is very high. But question mark, do we invest in the technology right now with the driverless thing? Because is the infrastructure ready? If so, why? So how high growth, low share, building star phases and might be phased out altogether. There's a question mark that comes around it. There might be few things which are being these stars or cash cows which are not fizzling out. Let's say diesel as a consumption, as a gas to drive your vehicles. Probably with the high prices that the gasoline is going around it, economies might not be able to sustain themselves. So what do we go do with such kind of automobile? Do we go for the EVs or electronic vehicles as the case might be? Similarly, when the relative market share is very high and the growth rate is very low, what does it means that within a market, within when the market is very growth rate is very low and your market share is very high, that means you are dominant player almost in the market. So you don't need to do a push, you don't need to make an investment, you don't need to shove anything. You are going to come up with your cash cows as far as a low growth, high share kind of establishment. Yes, we are looking forward to this. Successful SBUs produces cash thereby. That is what we are looking forward. And what happens when their relative market share is also high and the growth potential is also very high. So we are talking about high growth, high share market. Probable potentials for profit is immense and may need heavy investment per se. And analyzing current strategic business units with the 9 grid factors of GE matrix, if we go on to say around it, on GE matrix against the relative market growth or relative market share. In relative market growth, it says about your business strength being plotted on an x-axis, and on a y-axis, the industry attractiveness has been plotted. And if you look into it, the 9 matrix cell has been colored differently. For example, there is something called a growth potential which is looked upon when the business strength is very good enough or average or medium probably, but attractiveness is higher end. So you should be staying in these kind of portfolio. Whereas the business strength is also weak or may average, and probably the industry attractiveness is absolutely fizzling out. It is lowest on the lowest possible scenario. This is the case where you have to probably stake out or sell out altogether. And in between would be the yellow quadrant, that if you're talking around here, this is where you can maintain the position. You never know, this can turn into a green side or this can refer back to the browner end. It can be a hit or it can be a miss per se. As far as G's 9 cell matrix goes around it, we are going to talk about the developing growth strategies. Now we are talking about the market or product expansion grid. Now, existing product or new product, what we are looking into it on an x-axis, existing market or new market, what are we looking into and why axis? So when the product is new and the market are new, we are looking for diversification. We are not only building a brand, but also the building an audience for the brand. So that is what diversification would always go around it. But what happens when the product is new but market exists previously? So we are talking about product development here, launching a new product because we are already present in that market altogether. So there is a product development strategy that comes around it. Similarly, when the product is existing and the market is new, what are we looking? We are doing good with the product in one of those market, one of those economy, one of those country, and we are launching it into a different economy, different country. So that means the product is tried and tested. Now it is a time to develop the market. Similarly, when the product is existing and the market is also existing, it is all about market penetration or probably filtering out competitions from the market thereby. So product market expansion grids, we have spoken about those 4 grids as in market penetration to increase sale, to present customers with current product. How? Market development is to develop new products, new markets with the current products, and how probably we are talking about product development, offering modified or new products to current customers. If so, how? Now, these are things that you need to answer. Diversification as in to develop new products or new market per se. Marketing role in strategic planning, process of selecting target consumers. We are talking about market segmentation, determining distinct groups of buyers with different needs, market targeting, evaluating and selecting which targets to segment to enter. This is what we are looking as far as market segmenting, market targeting, and market positioning. Now, positioning your product with the distinct capabilities, distinct competencies, distinct brand value, brand names, and desirability quotient that has to be kept in the minds of the target segment compared with the competing products. So, market strategies for competitive advantage are market leaders, market challengers, market followers, and market niches. Remember, market leaders are the leaders who are launching the product for the first time in the market. So they have a headstrong start altogether. So people might be experimenting and things like that. Market challenges are the fellows who would launch a similar product after passage of time. They might have missed the first launching brand uh, advantage, but what they can do is they might launch the product at a lower price end. Market follower is when the rest of the competitors will actually jump in, as in with the market and a variation in the product with different price point. And market niche will be the person who will actually carve out a niche based on the brand, based on the affordability, or based on any unique sales proposition that the company decides to build upon it. We talk about the marketing process. Yes, the demographic economic environment. What we are looking into it is the marketing intermediaries. Now, what are we looking? As in market analysis, market planning, market implementation, marketing control, and so on and so forth. How do we go across with it? This is that needs to be kept into mind. We are talking about suppliers, we are talking about publics, we are talking about competitors. This might be the macro fighters as in technological natural environment, demographic economic environment, political legal environment, socio-cultural environment as the case might be. These are the macro factors that comes into play. Let us understand the marketing mix. The four P's, we are talking about product, we are talking about the price, goods and service combination that the company offers the target market, amount of money that the consumer have to pay to obtain the products as the case might be. We're talking about target customers, intended positioning. We're talking about activities that persuade the target customers to buy the product. In short, the promotion that we are talking around it. Company activities that make the product available. So what are we talking about? We are talking about product, price, promotion, and place. We have to have those four P's in place altogether. So we need to ensure that the right product at the right price, at the right promotion and right place is available, made available. Now this is where the target customers has to come into place. Intended positioning is very, very required per se. So let us understand the managing the marketing effort. Marketing analysis of a company situation. What is it all about it? Marketing planning is developing the market strategies to achieve the objectives. The marketing objective, mind you, the marketing objective is end results in transactions, end results in sales. Developing marketing budget or plans accordingly. Marketing analysis is all about implementation, turning the marketing plans into an action plan to achieve marketing objectives thereby. Yes, we are talking about controlling. Yes, we are talking about measures, result. Yes, we are talking about evaluating results and take corrective actions as the case might be. We should ensure things happen for a reasons, and that is what we are looking forward. So, elements of marketing plan. Let us come with the elements. First and foremost thing is what you are intending to do. Like, give a small summary or synopsis of what exactly you are looking forward to. Then start analyzing the situation, the market situation, the environmental situation. What are the opportunities available the environment is posing to you? What are the threat that it is actually posing out here? If we can identify the opportunities and threat, can we minimize the threat and capitalize on the opportunities? Let us look at the objectives and the issues thereby. Then we start with the marketing strategies, and once we have frozen the marketing strategy, shortlisted the marketing strategy, we go into the action program, or should I say the execution of the plan thereby. This is nothing less than by needs to be taken care of with the controls and the budget thereby all together. Yes, the implementation of the marketing is all about strategy. It's all about implementation. Now, how do we go for marketing strategy? You have to decide upon what your human resources, climate, culture, organizational structure, action plans are all about it. Is it a vicious attack onto the competitors? Is it the genuine warm feeling that you want to impart to your customer? Is it the huge commission brokerage that you want to give it to the retailers, resellers, and your warehouse supply chain managers? Or what are you looking out here depending upon your organizational structure, your values, your climate, your culture, decisions and rewards thereby? Once you have decided upon it, once these three quadrants have been taken care of, once you have decided of this five factors. You just need to implement them, and you will see it will translate into performances. The performance can be either way of positive or negative. In case it is not falling as per to your expectation, there might be you have to reevaluate your decisions. You have to reevaluate your structures, organizational plans, the programs, the human resources, the culture, the climate that needs to be a certain again and again. This is where the marketing control comes. Marketing control will tell you whether you are on the right path or not. So set your goals. Absolutely, yes. Set your goals right at the top and then start working upon it. Once you have started working, measure your performance, evaluate them. In case it is exceeding your goals, there's nothing to worry. But if there is a gap, you have to take a corrective action or probably set marketing goals on a lower end. You need to understand either there is a resource crunch or there is a lack of services that needs to be given provider or you are unable to provide. As a result, it might lead to dissatisfaction of the customer. These are the things that needs to be taken into consideration and ensure that the marketing goals are appropriately planned or let us come to the very last slide. We need to understand the auditing part of the marketing management orientation. If your orientation was right, if it was wrong, who is going to tell it to you? It is your audit who is going to tell it to you as the marketing things. So you need to keep an audit of your environment. How did it change? The strategy, the organization, audit of your organization. Is it too employee heavy? Is it too resource heavy? Is it too employee vacant? Too much of vacancies available? Not enough people are planning those things. Productivity, we are looking into it. Functions, types of marketing audit that comes around here. That needs to be understood. Yes, we are looking forward with it. With this, we come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.